what do you think about Usyk versus Tyson Fury next this fight?
I'm gonna look forward to that fight. Really, that's gonna be an interesting fight. I'm going towards Tyson Fury because I think he's just gonna overpower him. He's gonna catch up with him and overpower him. That's what I think. I could be wrong.
He's not gonna get the fat Tyson Fury. He's gonna get the focus, you know, guy that don't have a belly, don't have love handles. He's ready, focused, and willing.
I think to analyse this properly, this is the best opponent that Tyson's been up against. But, you know, Tyson's got a lot more advantages than Usyk in size. He can box and he can punch as well. So, you know, Tyson on his A form should come through this fight and be undisputed champion.
We're nearing the date of one of the biggest fights of the year as Tyson Fury and Oleksandr Usyk gear up for the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship title clash. The boxing world is busy sharing their predictions. Some of the biggest names in heavyweight boxing have already picked the winner of this fight, and it looks like the Gypsy King is the overwhelming favorite to win this fight. The current WBC World Heavyweight Champion Fury hasn't been in the best of form after his controversial victory over Francis Ngannou last year. The Gypsy King not only put up a lackluster performance against the former UFC heavyweight champion, he was also unfit for the fight. However, he has been training hard for this upcoming fight against Usyk, and he recently showcased his incredible transformation.
Jump. 5. Brilliant. Off you go, nice controlled. Right the way down. Average, right the way down. Come on, that's better. Building those quads, come on.
Easy and nice, like sugar and spice.
He even took to Instagram to showcase his incredibly toned physique.
Perfect. Straight to the camera, perfect, hold that.
Fans are impressed with how hard the Gypsy King is working for this fight, and they can't stop complimenting his new look. Many believe he has the potential to defeat Usyk in this highly anticipated contest. While the Gypsy King seems ready for this clash, the Ukrainian boxer isn't far behind. He too has been preparing for this fight for a long time, and fans have caught glimpses of his fiery training regimen. Here's a look at both fighters' training regimens side by side. As you just saw, both fighters have been working hard in the gym, and by the looks of it, fans are in for a treat when these two finally put on their boxing gloves on fight night. Both fighters have also talked about the fight, and Usyk recently had an interesting message for his opponent.
Hey, my friend, don't be afraid. I will not leave you alone.
What does that even mean? Don't be afraid, I won't leave you alone.
The build-up to the fight has been lighthearted and very respectful between the two. The Gypsy King is known for his verbal jabs and trying to get to his opponent's head, but his latest interview was surprising. He was respectful towards Usyk as he shared his thoughts about the clash.
So Oleksandr Usyk then, I mean, he's a southpaw, he's tricky, a lot of other guys find him very, very tricky. There's no blueprint really on how to beat him because he's unbeaten. Are you expecting a tricky fight?
Tricky? Not so much, because he's a boxer and he can't trick me on anything. But Usyk's a bad man, you know, he's a real bad man. And any underestimation of Oleksandr Usyk, you'd be a mug. So I'm training hard for him, I'm doing everything I can. I respect Usyk as a man, because he's a God-fearing family man, which I am myself. So I respect that more than any boxing achievement. And I respect his career as well. He's been Olympic champion. He's had 350 amateur fights or something. and he's been an undisputed cruiserweight champion, and he's been a unified heavyweight. Well, he is a unified heavyweight champion, so you have to respect that. I'm not fighting some guy who's had 14 and won 11. You know, I'm fighting the real deal, as Holyfield. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to the challenge. You know, he's a southpaw. He's got good footwork, so they say, and he's got good boxing ability, and technically he's sound. He's proved he can mix it with the big heavyweights, because he's beat Joshua and Dubois. They're pretty big heavyweights. So yeah, it's I'm messing with an elite fighter who's got more than boxing ability, and more than that, he's stubborn and he wants to win like I do. So when it comes down to that, and I think all of that aside, like all of the talents and the attributes of each fighter, we both have talent, we both have good attributes and bad attributes, and it will come down to who wants it the most on the night. It won't come down to, oh, he's bigger than me, he's smaller than me, this, that and the other. I think it will come down to who wants it most on the night. And if he wants it more than me, then he'll win, and if I want it more than him, I'll win. But either way, I think we're in for a real treat. Real treat.
Fury admits that both he and Usyk are hungry, and that either fighter could win this clash. When asked about his thoughts on fighting this bout in southpaw, this is what he had to say.
Probably, I'll be switching up, I always do.
But against Derek Chisora, 2014 rematch, you did the whole fight in southpaw, and he couldn't get to grips with you.
Yeah, Chisora's a lot more one-dimensional than Usyk though. Usyk is a slick guy, isn't he? And I say more one-dimensional. He is, because we know what Chisora's going to do: come forward, bob and weave, and swing over the top, back to the body. We saw him have a great fight with Usyk. It was a real close fight.
You said at the time you thought he beat him.
I thought he beat him, or at least deserved to draw, but he lost by a couple of rounds, which you can't complain. You know, one man is undefeated on the rise, and one man was, I don't know, had 10 losses. So they give it to the man who was undefeated. But yeah, I just think that my will and determination will be more than ease on the night.
The Gypsy King also expressed his gratitude to His Excellency Turkey Alec for making this fight, and had an interesting revelation to make.
I'm actually going to give all the belts to Turkey Al Sheikh as a present from me to him, to say thank you, every single one.
Tell me about your relationship with His Excellency. Can you remember the first time you met him? And have you ever met such a big boxing fan?
I met him for the first time last year, it was, yeah. I spoke to him on the phone, and then actually meeting him in reality. I met him down in London in a hotel room. Just such a down-to-earth, lovely guy, you know, massive boxing fan, loves boxing. And to have someone so influential with so much power and movement in the game is awesome. For someone like him, a government sector to be pushing boxing in world boxing is absolutely fantastic. And I've said it many times, if Turkey didn't come for me to take me to Saudi, then I would be retired by now. And I don't know what I'd be doing, but I definitely wouldn't be bringing massive conferences to Morecambe Bay and whatever else. So we do have a good relationship. We have a good working relationship and a good personal relationship, and he checks up on me from time to time, and so do I with him. And it's good, you know. And like I say, I was the first person to open the door to like Seller in boxing over there this time. And to have someone who's so genuine, so straight, and everything they say to deliver, it's absolutely fantastic. It's beautiful, you know. And he's a massive boxing fan, so all these fights that fans want to see, he has the ability like that to make these fights happen, hence the reason they're happening. And we've all seen how hard fights are to make over the years. For one reason or the other, it usually comes down to dough, being honest, why these fights don't happen. And now, he's the paymaster, so he can literally put on whatever he wants. He could put Mike Tyson versus Isaac Lowe. He could bring Lennox Lewis back out of retirement to fight a rematch with Vitaly Klitschko.
Or maybe even fight Tyson Fury.
Anybody, yeah. He could literally, he could make Klitschko versus Usyk. He could make any fights happen. Well, as the will is the way, and this man has got a lot of vision, so big moves are happening, and the fights that I've been told about that nobody knows about are very exciting. And big moves in boxing.
Would you tell me in this interview?
No, definitely not. Personal.
So the Gypsy King would likely have retired had the Saudis not approached him to host the fight. It doesn't come as a surprise then that he has so much respect for His Excellency. But now let's look at the predictions for the fight.
I think Usyk will win. Yeah.
But you've not declined to answer it, but before you didn't really answer
Nah,
that
I've always said. I don't know if I always said it, but I think Usyk will win. I think Usyk will win. Yeah.
Who do you want to win?
It's a great question. Probably Fury, logically, because it's a bigger fight. That's if he fights me. He always says he doesn't want to fight, but it's a bigger fight for me down the line if he wins. But yeah, that's the only reason I'll say Fury, for my own benefit, for my own selfish reasons.
Finally, Jimmy, I'll not keep you any longer. Just wanted to ask you about the biggest fight in boxing really at the minute, Fury Usyk. How do you see that going, and do you see potential kind of a round robin with Joshua now back up to somewhere near his best as well?
I'm all in for Joshua and Fury. So I want Fury to beat Usyk. I think he does beat Usyk. I think a good big one will always be a good little one. But Usyk is an enigma. No one has figured it out at this moment in time. He's been brilliant. He has been brilliant. But I think Fury is so unpredictable that he'll have the keys to the plan.
Fury's size is what makes him, I think, gain more success and stuff like that. When I see him and Usyk, I see how they cheated Cunningham with that clubbing. He laid his weight on him and then he grabbed him and clubbed him and stuff. I can see him doing the same thing with Usyk, putting his weight on him and stuff like that. I do think Usyk has more skill, but when it comes to the size and stuff, I don't think Usyk will be able to compete with the size or the hanging and stuff. But who knows? You know, that's just my opinion.
If I'm objective, I would say Tyson Fury. Speaking of myself, I would still say Tyson Fury. Obviously, I'm not counting Usyk out. I know he can win this fight. He has a very good chance, maybe even. But I still go for Tyson, and I still want him to win.
I think Tyson Fury wins the fight. I mean, it all depends on if what we saw in the Ngannou fight was just him not taking it seriously, or if it was him in decline, he's going to have a tough night against Usyk. I think he's going to be too big in that fight. If he's switched on, if he trains properly, which you'd expect him to do and be, I expect him to win. But you can't rule out Oleksandr Usyk. It's a tremendous heavyweight clash, another massive fight in Saudi Arabia, and great for the heavyweight division and great for boxing that we're seeing that undisputed fight.
Yeah, I picked Usyk to beat Fury. I remember when Usyk first moved up to heavyweight, I said he's a dark horse, don't write this guy off. We've seen cruiserweights move up to heavyweight and dominate in previous years, and it did seem a bit unfathomable for a lot of people that he's never going to compete with the Anthony Joshuas, or we weren't even really talking about Tyson Fury, I don't think, quite at the time, or maybe he just sort of burst back on the scene beating Wilder. But yeah, I still think Usyk beats him. I think, the argument is a good big un beats a good little un, but I think Usyk is an exceptional fighter. I think in terms of their boxing ability, like, Usyk is a lot better.
Still leaning towards Fury. I'm not saying it with any sort of air of confidence, because like I said, you can make an argument for Usyk winning the fight, but at this stage my mind hasn't really swayed too much. We're about a week out from the fight, and it may change again as we get closer, and I suppose once to see what the guys are like and what they're saying on fight week, that may change my mind, but just, edging Fury.
As you just saw, the majority of the boxing world has picked the Gypsy King to win this fight, but they mostly believe it won't be a cakewalk for the ODVC heavyweight champion, and the fight could go the distance. Lennox Lewis has already picked Tyson Fury to become the next undisputed heavyweight champion in boxing. Legend was the last undisputed heavyweight champion 2.5 decades ago, when he defeated Evander Holyfield to claim the undisputed title. During the interview, he expressed excitement about the fight and revealed how he shares a connection with this fight. Lewis warned Usyk that fighting Fury won't be an easy feat, but he still believes it's possible. Lewis's opponent, Evander Holyfield, meanwhile, has a lot of respect for Usyk and has an interesting revelation to make about the Ukrainian champion.
Yeah, this has been a fight a long time coming. Didn't know if it was really going to happen, and it kind of reminds me of, when I was trying to be undisputed heavyweight champion. It wasn't easy for me. You know, I had to do it twice. You know, they didn't believe it the first time. And, you know, I got it done. And then, you know, being so many years undisputed, you know, it makes me feel great that it's been so long. So, you know, records are there to be broken. And for me, after the undisputed fight, you know, we're gonna have to see how long, you know, they're gonna be undisputed champion.
He also shared his thoughts on how Usyk needs to approach this fight.
You know, I think he knows what he needs to do. This man is a champion. I mean, you know, he's undisputed at a lower weight class. Now he's moved up to the higher weight class, and he hasn't lost yet. So he's a winner, and I'm sure he's got a plan, you know, out there, because he wouldn't step in the fight unless he had a plan. And we're just gonna have to see how his plan plays out.
Look, it's like I say, you know these sort of weights and the difference between moving up from cruiserweight to heavyweight, because you experienced that with Evander Holyfield. Is it an easy transition for Oleksandr Usyk? I mean, I know we saw him beat Anthony Joshua a couple of times, but you know, and he won them fights, and he won them convincingly actually. But like against Tyson Fury, he's a much bigger guy, and he's going in there. He is the world champion as well. Does that make a difference?
Makes a big difference. I mean, you know, Tyson Fury is not no easy fight for anybody. You know, he's elusive, he moves well, he boxes from both sides. You know, for any boxer, it's gonna take a while to figure out. You know, also the height difference is a problem. 6'9", it's not an easy, you know, it's not an easy fight for anybody.
Both boxing legends have an interesting perspective on this fight. It's great to see how these two boxing icons view this fight as a recreation of their clash over 2 decades ago, while Lennox Lewis, the last undisputed champion, believes Fury will come out victorious. Evander Holyfield picked Oleksandr Usyk to win this bout thanks to his superior skills, technical ability, speed, and agility. It will be interesting to see who comes out on top on fight night now that both teams have arrived in Saudi Arabia for this clash. With there being near 4 days before this epic showdown, both teams required a claim to the conditions, and as soon as both teams landed in Riyadh, fans were greeted with some more drama.
Good fighter, he's a very good fighter, and you know, and Usyk, you know, Usyk is amazing. I'm like, because you know, I met him early when he told me himself that he was gonna do exactly what I done. He said, I'm gonna win the cruiserweight, then I'm gonna go to heavyweight, and he been doing that. And so, you know, I think that he's one of the guys that when it come down to boxing skills, he's very skillful and he's very determined. And so it's gonna be a great fight.
Tyson Fury's dad, John Fury, created a ruckus when he headbutted a member of Oleksandr Usyk's camp, Furious. The senior has gained an infamous reputation for stirring up drama before his son's high-profile clashes, so the latest drama was expected. Tyson Fury wasn't present during the altercation and seemed surprised and embarrassed when he saw his dad bleeding from the forehead. By the looks of it, fans are in for a real treat as the build-up to this fight gets even more exciting. It remains to be seen how these two undefeated fighters are going to approach the biggest fight of their careers, but we leave it up to you to predict the winner of this fight. Who do you think wins this one? Will the Gypsy King maintain his undefeated record and cement his place in boxing history? Let us know in the comments. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed watching this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again.